Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Footballbets4u Podcast, the Fantasy Football Show, Gameweek1. So this is our first Fantasy Football show. So on this one, we're going to be just talking about a little bit about the league. We're going to give basically a rundown of what's happening, the prizes that we're going to be giving out, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to talk a little bit about. I'm going to go through the fixtures and look, I have done up a team, but I know I'm going to change it before the game week one. So we'll go through a little bit of team structure. So if someone that's new to fantasy football isn't too sure, hopefully this is a little bit of a guide on how to kind of structure your team and stuff like that. I've been doing a little bit of research myself. I've been playing it for years, but this time I've kind of put a little bit more effort into it. So so look, there is the code that is just up here. It's G5WCKJ. Make sure you enter that. Ask your friends, ask your family to all join. Make sure they are following us on Instagram with the Footballbets4u Podcast, because we will be putting out all of our content on that page. You'll get all the updates and you'll know when we basically release some videos. Also, make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, you do hit the subscribe button, you do hit the little bell icon as well, because that'll give you notifications when we release a video. So I think first thing we'll look at is the team structure. So I've done out a rough draft of my team here. So I think what you need to do is figure out a formation you're going to play. For me personally, I don't like going with too many defenders, so I prefer to go 3-4-3, which is what I've gone with here. So I've used pretty much my full bank up. So I've gone with a good goalkeeper. I'm not too worried about. So what I would advise to do is probably get rid of your bench first. So you have one of each position in the bench, or possibly two, whatever it may be. I think sort that out first, and I think it gives you a good idea, a better idea. So we'll go into the transfers. It gives you a better idea of how much you've got to spend. So if we just take all the players that I don't plan on playing out of the team, we'll see what it kind of gives you and what it allows you to spend on players that you actually do want. So if we take everybody out there, we can see we're left with 1, 2, 3, and then we kind of have a bit of a toss-up between who was going to be the next sub. For me, it's going to be Cody. So 4 players picked for the bench, and if we go up, we've got 83 million. So that gives us a good indication of how much we can now spend on the remaining players. So for me, looking at a couple of players that must be in the team, for me, first player is Salah. Mohamed Salah has to be in your fantasy football team. He's guaranteed points most weeks. He's probably one of the highest scorers over the last 4 or 5 seasons. So for me, definitely Salah is going to be one. Another one that I personally think is going to do well this year again is Bruno. So Bruno Fernandes off Man United. Again, 2 of these players are very high value, but you're going to get a decent reward. You're going to get a lot of points from them. So 12.5 and 12. Look, it's a lot of money, but I genuinely think it's worth it. What I've gone with next then is a solid defender and one that will get you a lot of points. So I was a toss-up between Robertson and Trent, but I've gone with Robertson just because I get to save the $500,000, which can benefit me somewhere else. So I've gone with Robertson first. Then you have to kind of... So another thing, so I've got my core players in there. So again, a good goalkeeper is what you need. So I've gone with Mendy. He's been pretty solid last season. I was impressed. So I've gone and thrown Mendy in there. So now you have your core of the team. So you've got your goalkeeper, you've got your good defender. It's going to get you a lot of points. You've got your point makers in the midfield. So you've got Salah and Fernandes. Now you have to look at, right, where can I squeeze people in? So you're not going to get another 10, 12 million striker in without sacrificing somebody else. So I've gone with a lot of value players. So if you have a look at me strikers, 3 players worth 7.5 million. So that allows me, there's a good selection of players you can get for 7.5 million. So if I go to the strikers, there's a lot of decent players there. Look, Bamford 8 million, but let me just check that down to 7.5. So look, Wood off Burnley again, not a world beater, but scores a lot of goals. He's only 7 million. Che Adams off Southampton again, scores a lot of goals. Richarlison, I would love to put Richarlison in, but I don't really class him as a forward, so I don't want to put him in. Iheanacho was going to be a very good one. Interesting to see how many games he plays this season. He was playing a lot at the end of last season, so he should get a lot of points. Again, there's the St. Maximin stuff like that. There's a lot of players there, so $7.5 million for me for strikers is a good price point. You can get a lot of people under that. So I'm happy with that. The next one you have to do is obviously you have to look at your 2 midfielders. So you've got 2 more that you're going to be playing regularly. Tielemans for me has been very good. Saka then as well. Look, it was unfortunate that he missed the penalty for England, but I think he's going to bounce back, and I think he's going to have a really good season with Arsenal. Again, we look at Arsenal. They've made this signing White, $4.5 million for me, I think is a steal. Although they haven't won a lot in the last couple of years, you still have to consider them in the kind of top 6 teams. So I think they're going to win a lot of games. They're going to keep a couple of clean sheets. And I think White is going to be one of them players that kind of contribute to that. So again, my last player then is Cresswell. Had a really good season last year with West Ham. Do I think West Ham are going to do as good as they did last season? Not really. But I do think he is definitely one that will get them a couple of points. So that's kind of how I structure my team. So what I do is I start off with my subs, get them out of the way, get them in as cheap as possible, and then I start picking my core players. So I go with Fernandes, I go Salah, I get me Robertson in there, Mendy. So again, like you could be swapping out, say Salah or Fernandes for like a Kevin De Bruyne or a Sterling or something like that. But I just think these 2 players have a bit of an easier start. And we look at the fixtures, United and Leeds, probably going to be a lot of goals in that game, which I would presume Fernandes should either assist or score. And again, Liverpool and Norwich. Norwich for me, one of the favourites to go back down. So again, Arsenal as well have a what should be an easy enough game for them. Brentford, I don't see Brentford doing too much this season. Probably one of my favourites to go back down. So that's why I've got Saka in there and White. I do hope the players start. So again, this is the rough draft for me for the first week for Gameweek1. And that is the way I am going to just start structuring my team is subs first, core players and your point grabbers, and then you kind of balance everything out then with your middle value players. So we'll jump into the actual league itself, and we'll have a look at who is in the league, because I believe anybody that's in the league should really get a mention and should be look, everybody wants to be kind of involved in the team or in the podcast, and I do want to get everybody involved in it. So okay, so if we have a look at who we have in the league so far, so we have a couple of people. I'll run through a couple of the names. So we have, I'm gonna actually have to pop on my glasses here. So happens if you get old. So we have McClough, Josh O'Toole, Alex McCutton. I'm gonna say McCourton. Okay, Alex McCourton. Ben Sheehan, Adam Quinlan, Eric Dolan, Matthew Boland, James O'Hara, Richard McFarlane, Gavin Kelly, David Cooper, Anthony Rock, Sam Doyle, Jared Lenihan even, Colin Lamb, April Matthews, John Thorsney, Kieran Conley, Lundalani Lethall, that's some name, Jade Kavanagh, Joe Daniel, Ben Trower, Beso Heiso, like that name, Aaron Singleton, Luke Bourne, Stephen Blackburn, Chris Scully, Evan Proctor, Ben Bennett, Jaden Grant, Harry O'Sullivan, Jay Esheet, Sean Brady, Jordan Murphy, Sean Doyle, Sandre Anders Boken, butchering these names, Jason Hoff, Alan Donovan, Daniel Lyons, Chris Edge, John Flood, Andrew McNulty, Lee Dillon, and Dean Riley. So there is a guts of about 50 people or so in it. There's still myself, and well, I'm in it, but the lads still have to join. So the lads from the podcast. So we do have Kieran Conley in it, who is Water. So Water is entered. Connor still has to get in. Mellon has to get in. Mellon is one that doesn't really fancy football, but he's gonna give it a bash this year. He always forgets to change his team and stuff like that. But I think this year, if he really kind of focuses on it, he'll actually really enjoy it. So Mellon's gonna jump in. We have Chris gonna jump in. Big Paddy's gonna jump in. Lawler may jump in. Not sure. But look, it's gonna be good. I think the monthly one is going to be good as well, because look, there is something to give out at the end of the month. We're not going to be eligible to win any of the prizes, which I think is only fair considering that you're all joining. So yeah, I'm happy to tell the lads absolutely no way they're winning the prizes. So that leads me on to the next thing. What are the prizes? So look, I was toying around with maybe being a PlayStation, an Xbox, or else like an equivalent cash prize. I do want to see the numbers in the league up a bit higher than they are at the moment for that type of prize. Look, if we can get over 100 people, I'm definitely happy to do an Xbox or a PlayStation or else cash prize. If it is a cash prize, probably around €250. I think this time I might just do winner take all, considering I'm giving out the monthly. I think winner takes all is probably going to be a bit more competitive, so everybody will need to be on their game. So okay, so look, I think I'll wrap it up there. I'm going to keep this one nice and short. Again, this was only me on this week, but I might have a couple of the lads that are on. Again, if you are interested and you are in this league and you actually are interested in coming on to this show, talking about your fantasy football team, absolutely no problem. Contact me on the Instagram page. I can definitely try to get you organized. If you have a camera and you've got a microphone, you can definitely come on. So I hope you enjoyed this. And again, like I said, make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube. Make sure you're following our Instagram page. All them places. Make sure you have us on Spotify, because you will get regular updates, especially on the Instagram page and on this YouTube channel. So I hope you enjoyed it. And like I said, tell all your friends. Make sure that everybody subscribes. And we'll see you next time. What's up, everyone? It's Collie from the Footballbets4u Podcast. I really hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Hit the little bell icon as well, because you'll be notified every time we release a video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.